The Wikipedia spends $31 million on racial equity? Wait, what do you mean by that? There's no way this is true. Nah, bro, like, this $31 million, there's no way. No, I don't believe it.
The Wikimedia Foundation, the organization which runs Wikipedia,
Yeah?
has just dropped their annual report for 2024. And get this is not a joke. They spent $31 million in 2024 on racial equity programs.
Where does it say that?
That's not a joke. That's real.
Where does it say that?
Their fiscal year ends back in. But I wanted to give you guys a little highlight here because just the rough high numbers are astounding. So to start with, the Wikimedia Foundation has total assets as of the end of their current fiscal year of $286 million in assets.
So where's the
right? That's their activism.
Okay, here we go.
Inclusion and funding is they're spending more money every year, but they're making more money than they're spending. So I mean that's worth noting. But where is that funding going? Where's that chart here? I'm going to bring this chart back up. There it is. Because their funding is going, and they're proud of this. This is all their charts.
Yeah.
They're very proud of this. Their funding is predominantly going to things like inclusion and equity. In fact, it's
what does it say?
$31.2 million are going towards equity.
Yeah, no, budget by goal. That's what it says. Yeah, I mean, that's what it says. Fuck.
And 20.5 million are being divvied up among what they call safety and inclusion. Now, most of these are what they call parts of their movement with a capital M, right? That's their activism branch of Wikimedia. Very little of this is actually going towards the running of Wikipedia. Now, we don't have the detailed numbers here because, again, we don't have the IRS records yet. But as of the previous years, they were only spending around, what was it, 3 million-ish in serving and hosting Wikipedia. We know that their overall hosting costs went down from last year to this year just a tiny bit, like $10,000 less, but it's been staying roughly steady.
Is that referring directly to racial equity? I don't know.
But this is all going towards things like equity. And it absolutely boggles
Where
the
is
Wikipedia. Look is they tend to document it pretty heavily, and their budgets and their growth.
Yeah, this is not them talking about it. I want to see them talking about it. Because they define it, right?
They wish those numbers were higher, and they're not higher, and that's frustrating to them because they feel like it should be higher. They want more growth. Quote, revenue for the foundation has grown by a factor of 5 over the last decade, but this growth is reaching some limits. The Wikimedia raises the vast majority of the resources for our movement, and the limits that they're talking about is exactly.
I think it's kind of cringe that they use movement as a proper noun. I feel like it's ridiculous for them to do that.
These ads.
It's like, to me, that's like one of those like telltale things where like I see like, okay, you're using your movement as a proper noun. You're probably a retard. Like this is the kind of person that would do that. Yeah, they would do this for sure.
These requests for donations that appear on Wikipedia.com. Basically, they're seeing that growing, but not fast enough in mind. And I want the racial equity programs that they have.
Disinformation, open nature of the projects makes us more vulnerable to information warfare. Okay.
And I wanted to talk a little bit about some of their programs just very briefly, so you kind of have an idea of what they're looking at. Yeah, this is what I want to
hear about.
The first is they're also talking about gender movements, right?
What is this?
This year, the foundation will prioritize co-creating a shared agenda for gender organizers across the movement. More inclusive, gender equitable, and safe spaces to contribute.
Oh, yeah. No, they're cooked. For sure. They're cooked. Yeah. No, that's it. Yeah, they're cooked. I tried to listen, guys. I tried to be skeptical. I tried to be reasonable. I tried to have, you know, a suspension of disbelief. When you ever, yeah, bro, when you hear safe space, when you hear intersectional, huh, you're done.
Intersectional content
Why
on
is this
women.
something to be upset about? It's their money. The reason why it's something to be upset about is because as I don't support this at all, but I support Wikipedia. So when I would like, I think Wikipedia serves a really big, valuable, Wikipedia is very valuable. It's a useful tool. And I think Wikipedia is worth supporting in essence, right? Like if you think about like what is Wikipedia, it's an encyclopedia that is maintained by the collective consciousness of the internet to maintain a degree of objectivity. Like if you think about it and you take a step back, Wikipedia is a great thing, right? Like that's a very good thing. I would say it's a good thing. And so the problem is that if I'm going to donate to Wikipedia and I know that my money isn't going towards making that goal happen and it's going towards bullshit like this, I feel like my money's being wasted. You see what I'm saying? So that's it. And we got somebody in chat. So you're unhappy about what I said about this. Why you think this is good? Ban me, I don't care. If you don't care, then why you been following my stream for 4 years? Don't you think that's a mental disorder? Don't you think about like what you're doing with your life and ever think about this? Now all your minions are mushing me because you used to be cool? Yeah, no, this is it's a mental disorder, man. It really is. It's a mental disorder. And I hope that you get help, man. I really do.
Biographies and material that women want to read, including the need for facilitated processes with contributors and editors with extended rights to onboard gender equitable norms and practices into the volunteer space, end quote. And that entire paragraph, that single sentence made my brain die. All of the gray matter in my head is now fully zombified because of the sentence that I just had to read. And because I had to read it, I read it to you. I'm sorry for all of you now who lost 10 IQ points for hearing that.
Exactly.
But gender equitable, safe spaces, intersectional content, that's what they're really heavily focusing on. And that's a large amount. That's millions of dollars of their funding. So let's talk about the Equity Fund real quick. So the Wikimedia Foundation, according to them, will continue to support the Equity Fund, which was established in 2020 to specifically advance knowledge and racial equity goals. Now, the problem here is, back about 2 years ago, they made a blog post where they talked about some, not all, but a small subsection of the organizations that received grants as part of that equity fund, the projects that they were.
Because I won't contribute to Wikipedia anymore? No, I would never pay money for this, right? Like, I never would do that. It's crazy that they do this shit. This guy deliberately seems to skip the examples part. Please read the wiki's own summary. Well, I mean, they explain what it is, right? I feel like that's it. We don't know the numbers. This can do both. Decrease fundings or decrease them. What I'm saying is, like, I would not want to contribute money to an organization that holds ideologies that I think are problematic or regressive. Like, I wouldn't want to donate money to like a, to a group like that. That's the way I see it.
Pushing, and it left a ton out, and there was a huge amount of data missing. So what I'm looking for right now is, hopefully when the Form 990 for Wikimedia Foundation is released for this last fiscal year for them, I'm hoping we will get some more of that information.
That's crazy.
It would be really nice to dive into more details on where those funds are actually going. I mean, we know they're racial equity, and if you dive through all of the Wikipedia pages where they talk about racial equity and how they define racial equity, it's it's horribly racist.
Somebody says, I understand now, internet's a sausage fest, and a lot of those articles are written by men, making them hugely biased. I think it's important to have different people chime in. I don't think so. I think that the context around that is, so are you implying that like women perceive reality different than men do on a factual level? Because like Wikipedia is it's not an opinion platform. These are the facts, and this is the way the facts happen. And so this isn't gendered. What was the comment? Yeah, no, that's not the way it is. There's not a gender of truth. Truth doesn't have a gender. So if you're misrepresenting or you're rephrasing something to make it misleading or to make people have a different implication, you're doing something bad. Yeah, that's an opinion. Truth has biases. Ideally, it doesn't, but realistically, it does. Well, you'd have to give me examples of those.
It is off the charts level of racist.
Yeah, of course,
but realistically, we don't know. We don't know at all what the details are here. We need more of these details. So I'm going to keep an eye out on all of this. But what
people never going to have an example of that. They're never going to have like this is why it would make sense for like different types of people to write it. Because it's something that, like, again, it's one of those things that only sounds good, and then whenever you think about it, it becomes a lot worse.
What we know right now is this. Couple of things.
Yeah.
One, that Wikimedia, if you donate to them using those big, oh my gosh, you better donate now before we die buttons, a large percentage of your donation is going to racial equity programs to the tune of over $30 million.
Yeah, that's wild.
$31.2 million. And $20 million of that money is going to inclusivity programs. They're also going to be pushing heavily on disinformation campaigns. So
Wikipedia does have a huge problem with disinformation. They do. I think that the problem is that, here's the issue, is that Wikipedia is a platform where a lot of people who are opinionated, like you think about the people that want to rewrite history, where do they want to go? They want to go to Wikipedia because that's the way that they can get people to believe things that didn't happen. And so I think this is the big uphill battle that Wikipedia has, is that it's such a big platform, and because it's such a big platform, it is extremely appealing for people who are, for people who have bad intentions to want to go on that platform and change it. Any examples? I think that, for example, the way that they covered COVID, or if you look at like Biden or like Trump's page, I think like over time that's been changed over, like just in general. Yasuke, that's another really good example. Gamergate is another great example too. Yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, those are actually better examples than what I had. And so those are some examples of people that kind of, in pages that are co-opted politically or for like a social reason, and then they're changed. And I think that the fact is that Wikipedia needs to try extra hard to keep those people off of the platform, because I do think that they will damage the credibility of Wikipedia. Because this is the same perspective I had with AI, is that people use Wikipedia as a tool. Like, if you have a tool that's biased, then you're not going to want to use that tool. People don't really want, like, an average user for Wikipedia doesn't want Wikipedia to have an opinion. They don't want Wikipedia to tell them or to represent a certain viewpoint. They just simply want Wikipedia to distribute the information to them in the most complete and authentic way possible. So when you work back, and this is the issue, right? And I think this is, again, it's like another good example of like kind of how people end up perverting the actual goal that the consumer has, and then they change it into something that they want. And so the consumer should be the primary driving force for change in a company. So if you're doing things that don't benefit and don't advantage the prime consumer and the end user, then you're making a bad decision. And Wikipedia has credibility? Yeah, I think Wikipedia is probably more credible than almost anything else. I do. So this is the reason. This is the logic behind why Wikipedia is more credible than anything else. Every platform is biased. There is no platform that's not biased, but the only difference is that Wikipedia cites sources and has other people that can contribute to it as well. You can't use Wikipedia for school? Well, yeah, but a lot of the people that are, especially like high school teachers, well, they're retarded. That's why they're high school teachers. You either have a high school teacher that really knows their stuff or somebody that's too stupid to get a job anywhere else. Why the fuck else would you sign up to make $40,000 a year? Because you're a fucking retard. You can't get a job anywhere else. And so anyway, that's the truth. So I wouldn't take a teacher a teacher's opinion on something I think is worth like less than zero. And so, ouch. No, I'm just being honest. Am I wrong? No, really, am I wrong? I don't think so. We're doomed with that take. That's why I said you should pay teachers. That it's an idiotic take. No, it's not. And not wrong. No, bro. You just contradict yourself? Nope. Teachers have a clue. You're being a bit hyperbolic. No, whenever I was in school, this is the thing. We're going to get off tangent a little bit. Teachers are 60 plus in my department. See, I used to fix computers for schools. And what that made me learn is that teachers are really stupid. They're really, really stupid. Because a lot of them, like we had a computer repair class. And in my computer repair class, we would have a new teacher every single year. And the reason why we would have a new teacher every single year is because the people that were smart enough to get a good job, they would go into the private sector and make 3 times as much money. So anybody who was working as like a computer repair teacher or like a network administration teacher, they are doing that. Like we would always get guys that were like either right out of college or like basically they're teaching this class like while they're retired. So like we got these like weird like kind of middle ground people, but the average people that were like just performers in the class, one position anecdote. No, it's very simple logic. If you pay a low amount of money, you will get a low quality of applicants. That's just the truth. And so also higher quality applicants will not pursue your job because they can make more money somewhere else. And this is a logical reality in every single field of work in the entire world. It's a logical reality in nature. Water flows downstream. This is true as simple of a concept as gravity, and it's as true as complex of a concept as psychology. It's just a factual reality. And so if I'm looking at teachers as being the benchmark for like what makes sense or not, well, growing up, these were the teachers that told me that I needed to learn cursive and I wouldn't have a computer in my pocket. They're retards. They don't know anything. They never did. And so I definitely wouldn't take a teacher's opinion seriously at all. That's it. And so, yeah, and so the only good teachers you have are the ones that are doing it without the money. But there's a lot of teachers that are there, understanding the concept of passion and how money isn't the motivation behind all actions. Man. Did you hear me say when I said that there are teachers that teach because they're passionate? Oh, yeah, no, there's good teachers too, but a lot of them are stupid. And I guarantee you, if you paid teachers twice as much money, you'd have better teachers. Typed before you said that? No, I said it right at the beginning. You typed because you got emotional. I'm not going to listen to that bullshit. Yeah, that's it. And current teachers would be out of jobs. A lot of them would be. Yeah, I think that they would be. Too many people have the wrong end of the stick due to typing. All they had to do was listen. That's it. That's all they had to do. And so people wearing rose-tinted glasses here, you're right. Absolutely. Do these people think that giving low wages does not bring low skill? Here's the reason why. It's the optics of an argument that matter more than the argument itself. Me saying that I think that a lot of teachers are stupid. People don't like saying bad stuff about teachers because they view teachers as hard workers, and some of them are. But the reality is that there's a reason why the U.S. is so low in education. And one of the reasons for that is because you compare it to the schools and the places that are higher in education, those other places pay teachers a lot more money. And the reason why is that if you pay more money for something, you're going to get a better job. This is a reality in every single facet of existence. And so number one, literacy. Yeah, exactly, right? They teach the same program. Yeah, and so people that argue with me about this, they're just stupid. Yeah, that's it. If a teacher aren't stupid, how can they not set a projector properly? Absolutely. Yep. I met many teachers and most of them are fucking retarded. Absolutely. So yeah, anyway, I understand that, me saying this might seem like it's a mean thing to say, but in fact, it's the nicest thing that I could possibly say. Because I'm looking out for the best interests of students and the next generation of people. That's why I don't want to have them get taught by retards that can't get a better job. That's the facts. I'll read one more, then we're going to move on, okay? Because we're wasting time. Teachers are against using Wikipedia because the information is often inadequate, specifically because anybody can edit it, and oftentimes those edits are made by retards you're talking about. Here's the problem that I have with that, and actually, let's talk about this guy. No, this is good, because he's actually talking about the actual topic, right? And so, we'll get away from the whole teachers thing. I think that's true, but the problem is that I don't think that that's exclusive to Wikipedia. So basically, what you're saying is that Wikipedia can be compromised, and because it's compromised, that means that it's not usable as a source. Well, what I'm saying is that I think all of these sources are compromised, and I think just because Wikipedia is transparent with it being compromised in some cases doesn't necessarily mean that it's any more or less authentic than another source. So like a lot of these other websites, like you look at the ADL. I think the ADL is a really great example of that. The ADL says that Pepe the Frog is a hate symbol. But under a teacher's logic, they would be more credible than Wikipedia. No, that's not the way it works. No, it should be about the information. You need to prove every source twice. Yeah, exactly. And so that's a good example. I'm not gonna ban you. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna ban you because you brought up a good point, and it's not some bullshit. But no, nihilistic worldview, I don't think it's nihilistic. How's it nihilistic? I feel like that's just true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. 100% it is. What you're saying is factually true. Remember, Isuke made up bullshit, then popped up, then they all quoted one retard who quoted his own book, although Wikipedia is never reliable. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the secondary sources aren't either. That's the problem. The assumption for Wikipedia is just dumb. It's 99% correct with its content. Only ideological and political topics have issues due to their natures. Yep, true.
They're deciding what is or is not true, what is or is not fact, and then pushing those agendas. And we all know where disinformation campaigns go, and which way they lean. And really importantly, they have enough money to operate for almost a century and are spending 10 times what they spend on server hosting on equity. That's all happening right now.
That's a lot of money.
And they want more money. And they're trying to come up with more ways to raise more money. And it's absolutely asinine. It's truly, truly, utterly asinine. More on this in the days ahead. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we will get the Form 990. We have all the IRS records from Wikimedia, but we don't have those yet. Thank you to the Lunduke Journal subscribers. Go to lunduke.com and click on all the things. Here's the great thing about the lunduke.com. Unlike the Wikimedia Foundation, we're actually honest about it. We don't have 100 years of funds in the. I'm telling you right now, if we had 100 years of operating capital in the bank for the Lunduke Journal, I would not say, hey guys, think about subscribing. I wouldn't worry about it, because
the big problem is that almost everybody who's motivated to create a centralized source for information has a bias behind doing that. And I think this is the problem, is that Wikipedia naturally attracts people that want to change history just by the nature of what it is. And I think that they need to do a better job at keeping these people out of positions of power. And they need to do a better job at keeping these people out of, like, editing roles. Like, this is a huge, huge, huge issue. So to Elon with X, I don't think that X is biased. I don't think so. I think that, like, it doesn't make sense that it's biased. Money can change history. It's not. Now it is. It's just it's just not. Yeah, gaming. Yeah, what is this? You're open your feed? Yeah, it's not. X just doesn't care. It's not biased. Yeah. People do ratio and X. Yeah, I think anybody that thinks that like X is like biased and like it's censored and stuff, look at the current like discourse around like the H1B visas. And like how many people are like adamantly shitting on and hating Elon Musk because Elon Musk supports like importing workers from other countries. Elon's getting ratioed. There's like tons of tweets going viral today, constantly criticizing what he's saying. So like if it was actually biased and it was actually censored, then that wouldn't happen. But when you have the owner of the company being ratioed on their own posts and other people that are disagreeing with them going viral, it's very obvious that it's not being biased.
I have a century.
So yeah, it's just that simple.
A century.
Got ratioed,
to run the whole gosh darn thing before I have to start thinking, hey, maybe I should raise some revenue. You know what? I'll wait 80 years before I mention it again. That way it gives me 20 years to build. Come on now. Come on, Wikimedia. It's absolutely asinine. If you've got that sort of cash floating around, you're not in dire needs. And you know what? You know what else? When people subscribe to the Lunduk Journal, what they're paying for is the Lunduk Journal. Like the Lunduk Journal doesn't have 20% of our revenue going towards racial equity programs and another 20 million over here going to inclusivity programs. That's not a thing.
Yeah, Wikipedia
right?
is totally ongoing themselves with this. This is like a crazy problem. I'm surprised it's even happening.
You just pay for the Lunduk Journal.
Yeah.
So you get to feel good about that. So if you've been considering donating to Wikipedia, instead consider donating to the Lunduk Journal at lunduk.com. All right,
I don't know
everybody.
what that is.
And with that,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes across the inner tubes, I do declare, end broadcast. Oh, I got to click the button. Don't forget to click the button, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
you always have to click the button.
It's hard to say like what that is or anything, but I do think Wikipedia is making a huge mistake by allowing people who are activists to be editors on their website. I think Wikipedia is an incredibly important, super valuable resource that a lot of people use. And if you have people that are co-opting it to be a vehicle for them to push their ideology or their worldview, I think that puts the entire movement at risk. I think Wikipedia is extremely valuable. I'm a big fan of Wikipedia. I think Wikipedia is great. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether I think that or not if you have a bunch of people who are using it for a goal, right? That's it. Could this type of budget have a compounding effect on who is editing articles? Well, exactly, right? And that's the problem, is that when you start hiring people based off of a gender or an equity or an inclusion goal, you're going to naturally attract people that are biased because they're the ones that that are going to be pursuing opportunities like that naturally. And so when you bring those people in, then those people are going to try to edit and change things and make them congruent with their worldview. It's discriminatory. Yeah, of course it is. So yeah, I'm very, very against this, and I think Wikipedia needs to get this shit under control and fire these people. And at the end of the day, Wikipedia is a really important resource, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. So they really do have to do this. Wikipedia has never been factual. It's literally just the opinion of those who edit it the most, because everyone can edit it. That's actually not entirely true. I mean, everyone can edit is like true in some circumstances. But if you look at any sort of like, for example, like I just thought of the first thing that I could come up with, right? The Battle of the Alamo. I bet if you read through a lot of the stuff with the Battle of the Alamo here, I bet 99.9% of this would be completely accurate and extremely correct. And so most edits are provided with a source. Yeah, exactly. And then these are all the sources that are used as well. These are like, oh, these are all the other sources, so you can just click on this. It's going to show you exactly here. And so I think Wikipedia, you're right whenever you look at a person like, Donald Trump, right? You look at Donald Trump, I bet this might be a little bit biased. And it's very true, and it's a huge, huge issue. But I think that when you look at the majority of historical outcomes and the majority of historical like events, Wikipedia does provide a relatively accurate summary of what's happening. So yeah, sure. empowers a person to use logic on whether the information is true or not by providing the sources of statements. Yeah, exactly. And so that's really the way I see it. It's sad to see Wikipedia going down this route, but I think it's been going on for a while, unfortunately.